How y'all doing? This is Picture Man R&B, and this is another movie reviews. This time I'm reviewing The Longest Yard, and this is not the original Longest Yard. It's the remake that was made in like 2004, 2005, starring Adam Sandler. And the cast is Adam Sandler, Chris Rock, Nelly, and a bunch of old wrestlers and old NFL players. And basically what happens is Paul Crewe, who is Adam Sandler's character, he's at a party with his girlfriend. They're hosting a party, and he's drunk watching his old gameplays, his old game videos where he was starring in NFL or quarterback in the NFL. But what happened in the NFL, he was forced to throw a game or he would have been murdered, and the charges got dropped on him, but we find out later in the movie that he really did throw this game, and we'll talk about that later. But what happens is he gets to fight with his girlfriend, locks her in the closet, and steals the car. Well, he's door riding and he's drunk, and the cops pull him over. And there's comedic dialogue, and he gives him the beer and tells him he'll see him later because he got 5 more with him. So the cops come and chase after him. Well, his girlfriend calls on the car phone and tells him that the whole nation's watching him for what's going down right now. And he looks up at the helicopter that got the camera, and he hits the brakes, and all the cops' cars completely destroy his car, and he gets arrested and taken to a Texas prison. Well, when he gets to the prison, the warden wants him to help him with his prison guard team and give him advice, tips, training camp type things. And at first, Paul Crewe don't want to do it because the head guard tells him to tell the warden no, that you don't want to have nothing to do with this. So that's what he does. And then something happens. I can't remember really what happens, but Paul Crewe changes his mind and tells the warden that what they did when Paul Crewe was up in college, they would play a no-name team the first game, and it would be an easy win, get the team motivated for the season. So the warden tells them that's what's going to happen, and the guards are going to be playing the cons. So Paul Crewe has to get up this team. So they had tryouts. And Chris Rock's character, who's caretaker, tries to get the cons to go to these tryouts. And the first tryouts is a bunch of cons that ain't real good at football, so they get this little team up. And Nate Scarborough, who is Burt Reynolds' character, and little fun fact, Burt Reynolds was in the original Longest Yard playing Paul Crewe, which is Adam Sandler's character in this movie. Anyway, he comes up and tells Paul Crewe, how did you start playing for Florida State? And Paul Crewe said, they recruited me. And that's what Nate Scarborough tells Paul Crewe he needs to do. So they go around the prison and they break into this security office that got all the records on the cons, and there's 5 stars, and each 5 stars being the worst, the most violent criminals, and 1 star being the most calm criminals. So caretaker tells him to look up how many stars he got. He has half a star, and he says, "I'm gonna have to get my rep up. I need to kill somebody. I need to do something to get my rep up." And Chris Rock nails that line. Anyway, they go out recruiting people, cons, and the first person they recruit is the Great Khali, and this is the movie that got the Great Khali looked at by the WWE, and this is how the Great Khali became a wrestler because of this movie. And Paul Crewe's trying to get him on the team. First tried, it don't work. Then he comes again and tells them that the guard that watches over the Great Khali is their safety. So Great Khali joins the team as fullback. Where they go to the basketball court where Nelly's character, Megan, and Michael Irvin's character, Deacon Moss, and all the other inmates are that hang around with them, and Terry Crews is there, and he's Cheeseburger Eddie, and Paul Crewe plays a basketball game with Michael Irvin's character, Deacon Moss. If Paul Crewe wins, they join the team, but Paul Crewe winds up losing, but he doesn't ever call a foul, even though Deacon Moss is punching the heck out of him and fouling them all over, he doesn't call a foul, and that's how Megan gets on the team, who is Nelly's character, and he's a running back. But they start practicing. He would get Deacon Moss and the rest of the other crew in as the team is Stone Cold's character, who is a guard in this movie, and Kevin Nash's character, he's a guard too, and an ex-NFL player, I can't remember his name in real life, but he's a guard in this movie too. And they make Nellie's character Meredith pick up books, and they call him racial slurs and trying to get him to hit him, but he don't do it, and that's what gets Deacon Moss to join the team. So they're practicing, and we find out that this character, this inmate named Thunder, he's spying on the cons, so he's going back to report to the guards. And Paul Crewe talks to Warren and says he wants Thunder dealt with and to get him out of their practices because they're telling the guards everything. And the Warden says, you'll have my answer shortly. And what happens is the guards flood the practice field for the cons, so they they play in the mud and make this bullcrap play, which comes to play in the game. And after this, it just keeps going until the game. But the day before the game, Caretaker is murdered by Hunter, and Hunter was trying to murder Paul Crewe, but Caretaker was giving Paul Crewe an old picture of him when he was in the NFL, and the bomb winds up killing Caretaker. And that's what motivates the team to try to win this game. So we go to the game, and the first half, all the cons are worried about is hitting guards, hurting the guards, getting them out of the game, and they're not worried about the game. So the guards lead 14-0 at the end of the first half, the end of the first quarter. So the second quarter comes in, they get riled up, and they wind up tying the game. But during the second quarter, the refs are calling bullcrap calls all over and telling and hurting the cons and giving them flags everywhere. So Paul Crewe throws the ball and hits the referee in the groin, and then he does another play and hits the referee in the groin again, and gets the referee to start calling the game like he's supposed to. Well, they tie the game up at the halftime, and the Warden comes to talk to Paul Crewe and tells him if he doesn't throw this game, that the death Caretaker will be put on him. So third quarter comes, Paul Crewe's throwing the game. The Warden was supposed to get two touchdown lead and lay off, but he got a 3-touchdown lead and started giving the cons straight out pain and trying to get rid of them. And Paul Crewe comes back because he's feeling guilty, and he does he runs the ball and his helmet gets knocked off, and he gets to the first down, and this is what gets the cons back on Paul Crewe's side to play this game and try to win it. And Paul Crewe tells him how the Warden's trying to set up Caretaker's murder if he doesn't throw the game, and he tells him he's going to get to know him more because he said he's not going to do that 2 times in a lifetime. And so they go throughout the game. They're down by 3 touchdowns. Fourth quarter comes. They get tied up at like 5 seconds before the game's over. Do a trick play. And Paul Crewe's the wide receiver this time, and he gets in and gets a touchdown. Right at the end of the game, the Warden tells the head guard to shoot Paul Crewe because he's walking off, and it makes it seem like Paul Crewe's trying to escape. Well, he was not trying to escape. He gets the game ball and gives it to the Warden. He tells him to stick it up in his trophy case. And I love this movie. Fun fact, this is the first DVD I've ever purchased with my own money. And this is what started my collection. You see behind me all my DVDs, and I got 2 cases behind the camera. And I just love movies, and I love collecting DVDs, and it's a big part of my YouTube channel. And this is what started it all. I got this movie when I was in like 7th, 8th grade, and I just love this movie. And what did y'all like about The Loan Shark? And next, I'm going to be reviewing Friday Night Lights. So I'll be looking for that. As always, it's Picture Man, I'll be signing out. That's good. See y'all next time.